Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. Let's keep it going with those buzzing stocks in trade. And moving on to the next one, we actually spoke a bit about it on the technical fronts with Aditya. But Janay, why is Alembic Pharma in focus on the back of news flows? What is the news flow that we're picking up today?
Well, yes, so company has received a tentative approval from US FDA for its abbreviated new drug application, that is ANDA. Now, this tentative approval is for bosutinib tablet, both for 100 mg as well as 500 mg. Now, this approved ANDA is a therapeutically equivalent to a reference listed drug from a PF Prism CV. Now, if you look at this tablet, that their indicative treatment is used for certain type of leukemia, and if you look at the estimated market of this whole size, then it's about US $275 million according to IQVIA. Now, Alembic has cumulatively total about 206 ANDA approvals, out of which 179 are final approvals and 27 are tentative approvals from US FDA. And if you look at stock price, then it is flying high about 5%.
Alright, so that is all about Alembic Pharma and the reason why it is in focus in today's trading session on back of news flow. But Ansh, coming to you, Titan, why is this one in focus?
The stock is slightly in green actually. The company has executed joint venture agreement with Rhythm Jewelry Limited, a Rhythm Group company which is situated in Bangladesh, for incorporation of a joint venture company in Bangladesh with the objective of manufacturing, marketing and retailing of jewelry products in Bangladesh. On incorporation of this joint venture, Titan will subscribe to around 76,000 shares, which is 76%, and Rhythm will subscribe to 24,000 equity, which is 24% of the capital at face value of a BDT 100 per share in one or more tranches. Titan shall have right to nominate 3 directors, whereas Rhythm shall nominate 1 director in the joint venture company upon its incorporation. So for those reasons, the stock is in focus today.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. And ICICI Prudential Life, Aditya, that's the stock you've picked out for us. In the last 6 months, it's remained in that range of around 500 to 600. But, do we expect it to, comfortably move above the 600 mark going forward on the charts?
Yes, Vinny, I would like to believe so that the stock will remain above 600 levels and is poised to test levels of 660 on the upside, which I believe is the previous high for the stock as well. What makes me so bullish on the stock is the fact that you mentioned the stock was into a consolidation phase. Now looks like it's broken out from that consolidation on decent volumes, and the entire pack is looking interesting. Talk of life insurance or general insurance, the entire insurance company stocks are looking interesting. I think it's time to look at them and focus on them, maybe just ahead of the budgets, and can give you decent returns on the upside. The indicators are also suggesting that the up move which started in stock in trade today is likely to continue. RSI is trading above 60. MACD has given a breakout above its trigger lines. Overall, it's a very healthy looking chart setup with a stop loss just below 600. I would like to go long for target of 650, 660 on the stock.
Alright, let's move on. Let's talk about transformers and rectifiers. This particular counter has been in focus of late, and there has been a couple of news flows supporting that sort of a move for the stock. And today the stock was trading higher by 5%. There you go. It's locked in the upper circuit of about 5% or so. It's got order worth about 149 crore rupees. This from NCC as well as from Power Grid and Adani Energy Solutions. So on back of this order win coming in, for the counter, you can see the stock is locked in the upper circuit of about 5%. So, and when off late, when the company was in news, we did speak to the management as well, and they've been also very positive about the outlook going ahead. So that's the reason why you can see the investors are also pretty happy with transformers and rectifiers.
Absolutely, surely a thumbs up coming in for transformers and rectifiers here. But let's move on and talk about Vanta Limited on the technicals. Aditya, that's the chart you've picked out for us. We're seeing a sharp up move that's actually started coming in for Vedanta since somewhere around in March. And since then, there's no stopping it. It's up, from those 250 levels today at 450, 460 levels. What's the word now on Vedanta? Where do we see it headed?
Really, I think so. It's poised to again make new highs. After that sharp up move on the election result day, stock did witness a sharp correction as well, and from there stock has recovered gradually. Now it's on the verge of a breakout from a downward sloping channel, I would say a trend line rather. The neckline is placed at 470 odd level, so the moment it starts to trade beyond 470 on a sustained basis, I think stock will test levels of 500 and maybe it can cross 500 as well in the near term. So for an immediate target of 500, I would look to buy the stock at current levels and add on to the position above 470 levels. With a good support on the downside at 450, 445 odd levels. It has also taken support at key moving averages, and from there it's bounced back. So overall, I think so it's a very good setup for the stock, and getting up for a breakout. Before breakout, I would like to be buyer in the stock for a target of 500 at least.
Alright, so that's the take coming in on Vedanta. Let's talk about Ultratech Cement. Then Ansh and cement counters have all been in focus, a lot of them buzzing, especially Ultratech and India Cements. But why is Ultratech today in focus?
Yes, so the stock is up over 3% in trade. Also, the stock has touched record high level today. So the company has announced commissioning of an additional 3.3 MTPA clinker along with its 1.8 MTPA grinding capacity at its existing unit situated in Andhra Pradesh. This addition in capacity forms part of the 22.6 MTPA capacity expansion announced back in June 2022. Furthermore, with the bottlenecking, the company has increased the capacity of its grinding unit in Odisha by 0.4 MTPA, taking it to 4.5 MTPA. Now, as a result of this, the company's total cement capacity has reached 154.86 MTPA.
Okay, that is on Ultratech Cement, but today we also managed to speak to the management of Shri Cement, HM Bangur, the MD of the company, in terms of their targets and what is the share they are expecting to grow at in the upcoming years. Listen.
We are totally geared up for 80 million ton organically. Inorganic growth, we will be looking at it, but not very aggressively. If something comes up which is of right size and meets our overall demand, overall expectation and overall scheme of things where we want to be in 5 years later, then only we will look at it. We will be targeting only something like 3 to 5 million ton with smaller companies.
Alright, so that was the management of Shri Cement. Let's take a look at what Atul Auto is doing on trade today, because that particular stock, I believe, is locked in the upper circuit of 20% or so, and it's come up with very strong numbers. When you talk about the monthly auto sales numbers, it's actually seen an uptick about 107% on a year-on-year basis, the June auto data, and there you go, 2,628 units is what they have actually sold in the month of June, and on back of that, Atul Auto locked in the upper circuit about 20% as we speak, Vinny. It's perched at 752 rupees per share.
Absolutely, 752, good set of numbers. Look at the rise in the YOY numbers for the company as well. Very strong numbers that have come in there. So yes, on the back of that, a lot of auto sales data that is coming in, and that's what we're going to be keeping an eye out on. But let's move on and talk about the next stock that you picked out, Aditya. At stock number 23, we're going to talk about PFC. PFC surely has seen a good run up. What's the word now for PFC? Over the last year, when you pull up, it's surely a strong move. Last 3 months has remained in that range, range bound move. So what is the word now for PFC?
It was bound to enter into a range bound consolidation, Vinny, because after the sharp up move that we had seen both in RSE and PFC, they had to enter into a consolidation. But now I think after that consolidation phase, it's getting up and for the next leg of rally on the upside. So at current levels, one can definitely look to buy the stock with a stop loss just below 480, 475, 480 is a good support for the stock. On the upside, the first targets that I see is 525, and if 525 is taken out, I wouldn't be surprised if stock claws back to its previous high of 560, 575 levels. I think these are good levels to get on to the stock. The volume buildup is also decent at now at current levels, and then the indicators also suggesting the bullish overview of the stock. So overall, there's a very healthy looking chart setup. I think with the stop loss just below 480, one should definitely look at adding fresh long positions in the stock.
Alright, so that is about PFC. Let's talk about Amara Raja. Junaid, this one has been a buzz. What a doubler it's been for some of them who may have entered this stock at the right time. But today, why is Amara Raja in focus?
Well, yes, actually Morgan Stanley has come up with the report and they have actually downgraded. So they are not bullish on the stock. They have underweighted target with the target price of rupees 967. That's a significant downside to the target prices. Now what they think, what they think is that Amara now matches Excide's capability, but what they lag is the customer wins and the ramp up in their timeline. Also, if you look at the financial returns of especially the lithium battery business, they are still not clear right now, and also the EV battery deflation still persists. Now, if you look at overall, Morgan Stanley remains positive on the whole sector, but they prefer Exide over Amara, and that is why that's coming with a significant downtick on their target price.
Surely keeping an eye out on that. But with that, we're going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. More stocks after the break. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now, and I can see on the bottom of the screens right now a lot of auto sales numbers are pouring in. We do have Maruti Suzuki that's come out with their auto sale number for the month of June, 1.7 lakh units versus what our poll was, 1.61 lakh units. This is the total sales that we're talking about. See the spike up that we've seen in the stock as well. As of now, trading with gains of almost 1.4% in trade. So better than what we were expecting at least.
Yes, because I believe if you look at M&M numbers, they had missed the estimates at least. So maybe because Maruti's numbers are much better than the estimates, and it's 1.79 versus 1.61, so that's one of the reasons why that spike coming in the stock in a sharp one.
As what we're watching out for, more auto sales numbers as we'll update you all as and when they come in. But as of now, Maruti Suzuki surely a one in focus today on the back of its June auto sales numbers. Ahead of the expectations of ET now. But let's move on to the next stock that we should highlight we'll be highlighting is Garden Reach. That's in focus today. Why? And it's up as much as at one point of time was up as much as 10% in trade after the winter contract with the construction for the construction of Advanced Ocean Going Tug for the Directorate General Defence contracts purchased by the Ministry of Defence of the Government of Bangladesh. So they've gotten this very big contract. It's a $21 million contract value which you're looking at. That's around 170 crore rupees from the government of Bangladesh. That's the main reason we're keeping an eye out on this one. As of now, also holding on to gains of almost 1.5%.
Alright, so that is Garden Reach, sharp up move coming in on that one. There's another stock which is seeing a very sharp up move, and that has to be Rani Holdings. We'll take a look at what the stock is doing at this point in time. It has seen this sharp up move because of the settlement of claims with NSK. So the entire deal coming in is the fact that they've said that they have settled the claims including warranty with Japan's NSK. They're saying NSK will be paying 176 crore rupees to Rane's unit. There's Rane NSK steering systems, and also Rane Holdings has gone ahead and acquired 51% stake in RNSS from NSK, which is a deal worth about 45 crore rupees, and now the company is holds a complete stake in the company Rane NSK Steering Systems, which is a unit of the company now. And on the back of this, you can see the stock is locked in the upper circuit with 20%. Right when the news came, you saw the sharp spike, and there you go, it's locked
In upper circuit there. But let's move on and talk about Dr. Reddys as well as Zydus.
Licensing agreement to co-market Pertuzumab biosimilar in India, and this Pertuzumab is a critical treatment for HER2 positive breast cancer patients, and the biosimilar has been developed in-house by the research team at the Zydus Research Center. Under the terms of this agreement, Dr. Reddy will receive semi-exclusive rights from Zydus to co-market the product in India. Whereas if we talk about Zydus, then the Zydus will receive upfront licensing income and is eligible to receive milestone income based on achievement of predefined milestones as well. Also, if you see on chart, then the Dr. Reddy has actually given a breakout 2 sessions back only. Currently, it is a bit red, but it looks positive till that breakout level of 6,120 stays protected on downside.
Talking about Dr. Reddys, my colleague Asta actually caught up with the management of Dr. Reddys. Here are what they have to say about the latest acquisition that they had done last week, as well as what their portfolio looks like going ahead.
This is a deal we've been pursuing for a while. It is acquisition a bunch of mature brands in the nicotine replacement therapy space. It's OTC and it's an area that we have been focusing on for a while, building up our presence in markets like Russia, India, and certain other emerging markets.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, and we have Supreme Industries that's also in focus. Jinay, I believe there was a meet that they had, or an AGM. I think that's the main key highlight that we're keeping an eye out on.
It has its AGM over the weekend, and we have some takeaways. So the company actually reiterated a 20% volume growth guidance for FY 2025 across its product portfolio. If we talk about the month of April or May, the company has clocked a 22% volume growth across its portfolio. Now, if you look at the piping segment in particular, it has recorded a 27% volume growth with high base of about 48% growth in Q1 of FY 2024. Now, the company has also reiterated their capex guidance, as they will be focusing on expanding their piping capacities. Now, moving front on capex, they are setting up a new greenfield projects under consideration, is what company says, and they're also expecting to obtain a land possession by the end of this H1 FY 2025 and should be on stream by Q3 of FY 2026, and that is why Supreme Industries is in focus right now, trading with uptake of over 0.5%.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on Supreme Industries, but we're keeping an eye out on PVR. I don't know, Cheryl, if you watched it over the weekend or no. There was only one
There's
movie.
only one thing that we watched over the weekend.
That was the match. I watched
match.
that as well as Kalki, and surely a good movie coming in there because the numbers are quite fabulous. Look at the numbers that we're seeing. Just first 4 days, managed to reach that 300 crore mark in terms of the overall collection that they've already seen. Day 1 was 95 crores, day 2 was 57, 67 crores on day 3 and 85 crores on day 4. That was Sunday, that was yesterday that they managed to see. So strong up move that we're seeing for the collections. This momentum, what the highlight is coming in, that the momentum is still continuing in terms of attraction that one is seeing there. And globally also, the release that we have seen, this was the India version we were talking about, that is on 300 crores, but globally we are seeing a 500 crore mark that the company has already managed to reach. Especially in terms of North America, they were seeing very good traction. $9.1 million collection just in the first opening weekend that we are seeing, and the Telugu version, that's seen a good occupancy rate, 77% occupancy there. Hindi version is seeing an occupancy rate of 54%. So yes, the traction is still continuing. They've seen amazing figures even in the United States and Canada. So a film that has been doing well, and seems like given these figures, it could actually come out to be in the top 10 highest grossing Indian films that one could be watching out for in the US and Canada. This is just the first 4 days that we've seen for Kalki, and on the back of this, obviously PVR Inox, everyone is there. That's a major player in India. So PVR Inox is the reason that we're seeing a buzz coming in, good collections for Kalki as well. But this is something that may be just a short-term, view coming in for PVR Inox, and that is what Karan Turani, when we spoke to him earlier in the day, he was like, yes, in the near term, this is something of a benefit that we would see, but in the long term, what is his view for PVR Inox? Let's go across and listen in.
When Kalki started off, the Hindi advances were very poor. There was not much of a buzz as such. The opening day collections, if you see, Hindi version was not more than about 12 to 15%. But about yesterday, if you look at the numbers, more than 45 to 50% of the collection is from the Hindi circuit. So of course, the Hindi circuit has picked up because of word of mouth, and secondly also because Amitabh Bachchan, having a significant role there. So one did not know that Amitabh Bachchan has got a large role there. One thought it's a Prabhas lead, but in the second half, I think Amitabh Bachchan has a significant role to play. So I think the numbers have kind of picked up basis that as well. So I think if the momentum continues from here on an average, I think in terms of overall lifetime collections, the numbers could breach to about 650 crores on a lifetime gross numbers domestic, and around 30-35% would come from the Hindi circuit, which would be a big advantage for PVR Inox because they have close to 45% market share in the Hindi circuit, and in the South circuit the market share is relatively smaller. So I think it's going to add some respite to both Q1 and Q2, partially in terms of potential impact. So that's the potential impact on Kalki. The second thing is on the content pipeline. So I think Q2 so far we are not seeing any green shoots as such in terms of very sharp recovery. Of course, it started off on a high because of Kalki, but if you look at the Hindi content pipeline, apart from Stree 2 and a couple of more films, by Akshay Kumar and one by Ajay Devgan, we're not seeing too much of traction.
All right, so that's the view coming in from Karan Turani on what would this movie release mean for PVR Inox, and the fact that The reviews are good. The collection is good. I'm very tempted. Maybe this evening I should go and catch them.
Maybe if you get those tickets.
Yeah,
because yesterday when I went, it was surely a houseful show.
But it's Monday, no?
Maybe. You never know now if people really want to beat their
I'll
Monday
give you the
blues.
buzz in the evening and let's talk about it in the evening. But for now, let's head across to my colleague Shri. Remember, IPO bound, Ola Electric is planning to invest about $100 million in the first phase of building its gigafactory for producing lithium-ion battery cells. Founder and CEO Bhavish Agarwal, this is what he said on Saturday. He also added that Ola's electric scooters will feature the locally produced battery cell as early as next year. But ahead of that, the company took us on the tour of the under construction factory in Bangalore, along with a look inside the future factory to see Ola Electric's latest products firsthand. So Srishti is here to get us that report. Srishti.
ET Now's team is on the day tour of Ola's factory, and this is our first stop. And today we're going to make you see something really interesting. Take a look at Ola's future factory. This is the factory where Ola actually builds its two-wheelers. What you can see is quite an interesting and a humongous factory, because this factory is built in a 150-acre lands right now. And what is more than interesting to note is that this whole facility is built in just 8 months. Not just that, it's just the women force that is working all day in and day out at this particular factory. For now, the company is producing around 55 to 60,000 units per month in this facility, but that's expandable to 90,000 units a month. But Ola is a futuristic company, and in the long-term vision, they have set to produce around 10 million units per annum. Not just that, if we talk about some of the localization things that are done, then it's just the battery cells and the electronics that are imported, and the rest is locally made. And they have the suppliers in Pune, Chennai, and rest of the India parts as well.
Very strong focus is to build the two-wheeler ecosystem, and that's where we started with the scooter. And now, after achieving a certain market share and penetration, we have focused on the motorcycle. And our focus as a business is to step-by-step build different automotive verticals, where we can significantly contribute to increasing electric penetration and having a good market share. So a lot of people in rural markets actually like the fact that it's EV, because again, the cost proposition is very relevant. Bikes also, by design, bikes are more rugged because they have bigger wheels, etc. EVs, maybe the same benefit is there. And the bike in the rural markets, again, provides the same benefit of lower cost of operations. So I do expect rural customers to significantly like the bikes as and when they come, and we'll see how the market grows.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of this edition of Market Fatafat. Thank you so much, Ansh, Jinay, Aditya, for joining us on the show and taking our viewers to all the stock moving in trade. And since our research team is wearing the color blue, in fact, the jersey, remember, after almost 4 weeks of power-packed action, drama, and plenty of twists, the ICC World Cup T20 2024 ended with India crowned as the world's champion. This after reaching the precipice on so many occasions in the last few years. The men in blue finally clinched an unforgettable win in the last ball thriller against the first-time finalists, South Africa. So let's take a look at that victorious moment of Team India.
आपने शानदार विजय प्राप्त की है। मेरी तरफ से मैं आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.